We salute all of you, Dan Emmons as well. Say hi to Baelish for me. We will be back tomorrow, but for right now, it's Prad and it's the after party. See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Welcome everybody to the after party, as they keep calling it, or maybe I'm the one who started it and they're just following along with me. That's exactly how it went, but we're not gonna say that. We're gonna say that they're giving us a label. That way we get to keep that label. Yes, welcome to the after party. We're gonna look at all the stocks moving in the after hours. Very soon, not that long till earnings numbers are coming out and earnings movers to come into play for us to take part of. A couple stocks today, or maybe one realistically to take a look at based on earnings. It's going to be Levi Strauss, the jeans company or clothing company, apparel company. We'll take a look at that. I actually have it on my charts right here. Along with Levi, we also have a bunch of other stocks that moved around today, like for example, the EV sector. Rivian actually up on the day 6% almost getting up to $22. So that's a little crazy. So we'll take a look at the EV sector like we have been for the last few weeks now. The oil sector came into play a little bit. The Bitcoin sector is still in play. The travel sector also in play. So pretty much everything that was in play, all of the stuff that started in play last week, it was also in play into the shortened week that we have so far. So we're going to continue to look for these stocks, look for the levels to maybe attack and have some fun with to wrap off the shortened week that we've had so far. The July 4th week, I guess the 4th of July week so far, and wrap it up with a nice little bow on top. Friday the what is it? 9th? No, 7th. Friday the 7th coming in. I know a lot of people in the chat probably expecting me to say the infamous FF day, which is Free Fall Friday. But, we'll take a look at the market, how the market's setting up, what the factors, the external major macroeconomic factors are, and how they're playing out with the FOMC minutes coming out yesterday, with the jobless numbers coming out today. And we also have the oil numbers that came out today. So we have a couple economic numbers to take a look at. Maybe we can formulate a theory around that as to why market could move in a certain direction. And then we'll also set up for the other side, just in case the market doesn't give that side of the trade for us. That's the point of the show. So why don't we dive in with the earnings movers for the day today. It's going to be your boy Levi. Let's go check what time Levi actually announces earnings. I'm not sure if they did it already, but there's been a little bit of a move in the after hours for Levi. Let's quickly pull up the stock over here. Actually on the calendar would probably be the better idea. Calendar, Levi 410. So in about 4 minutes or so, we'll see the number actually coming out, and then Levi making that pop around or drop around. We'll see what exactly happens. But I want to show you the Options AI number. Shout out to Options AI for sponsoring the segment, sponsoring the show earlier and hooking us up with this account over here. We got about 7.8% expected earnings implied volatility move for Levi. So that means a drop down to $13 or a pop up to $15.35 or so expected off the earnings move. With the shortened week we already have on the market, and ooh, look at that, Levi already popping. I was going to say though, with the shortened week we have so far and the market already lacking a little bit of volume, we might not really see Levi going up to that number of 1530. But hey, there we go. It really popped up to 1508. We're seeing a little bit of a rejection off of 15, and now the question is, where does it settle? Looks like the numbers did come out to the positive side. Now we just have to wait for information to come out on other news channels. This is the Earnings Whisper just showing you that Levi is announcing today after hours. We got IPA tomorrow, Immunoprice Antibodies Limited, IPA somewhere around $2, $3 stock. So we'll see if that one's interesting for tomorrow. If earnings come out and bring us some volume, maybe we could trade it. But for right now, not really worth to even talk about it, honestly, because there's way better trades out there to talk about in this last hour that we have with each other. Do you need me to get off the camera? Oh, you're good? Okay. Take care, man. Have a good night. Get home safe. So talking about Levi, a little bit of a trend over here drawn on this chart. I'm guessing this is not sure what time length this chart exactly is on, but you can see that trend line being formed on this timeline, and they are expecting you to go long here and exit over here, I guess. That's what I guess they put their trades in, most likely, is what I'm expecting. Short and exit is what it looks like. Short and then exit, and then they're looking for a possible exit on positive report or on the break of the trend line. So you could expect maybe that trend line coming into play somewhere around 1650 if the stock really has positive earnings on itself, allowing it to continue soaring to the north side. Let's come back to the... Oh, baby. Straight arrow back to the downside. Levi quadunking now. It did break 15. We thought the numbers were good. We were expecting that move up to 1650 or something, but all in a span of 15 odd seconds, or I don't know how long it took me to get off the chart and come back to it. We are now down right back below the day's low. Pre-market volatility very, very active. I mean, let's see what the volume is. We are seeing 100,000 shares being traded per minute so far, so not bad volume. This is 200,000 shares traded in that candle, the big volume candle that came into the downside. So I'm guessing now the earnings are bad, or maybe the earnings came mixed and the guidance is bad. So we really need to know what the numbers are. I wish Brendan was not on vacation so we could find out what exactly is going on. I'm going to have to rely on Twitter here, obviously. So let's go ahead on to Twitter, see what they're saying. Net revenue estimates, looks like they did fine there. EPS estimate, it looks like they beat that. Is there anything about guidance being said? Anything? Annual profit, higher costs. Profit forecast on higher costs, slowing wholesale trends, okay. Reports earnings after bell, we already know that. I'm going to have to get Brendan's software, like routers program, I believe is what he uses. We need to set that up. Over here, though, what are we seeing as the news articles coming out fresh about Levi? Wall Street biggest bulls get more bullish about Levi. Is Levi Strauss a buy, a risky investment? I guess people are just throwing these articles right before earnings come out, obviously, to create somewhat of a clickbait, I guess. Obviously you're talking about stocks with earnings right before earnings season's coming in, creates that clicks for people to click on. They're not going to get that click from us, chat. But Levi, ladies and gentlemen, looks like the numbers were fine to me based on what we saw on Twitter, but they are absolutely sucking right now. How do you determine I can't say that word properly, the expected price range? The expected price range for the stocks that have earnings, I'm guessing you're talking about this chart over here. This comes off of earnings expected, options implied volatility, how big players hedge themselves on their trades. Maybe not the naked writers, but the people who are actually sitting in a position. They see that they have tons of shares of Levi, but they want to hedge their position, collect some premium for free, and make some money on this trade instead of letting the stock just sitting on the shelf there and lose value while it's going down. So those people, how do they position themselves in the option market? Then including with those, you can also add in the naked options writers, which are your Wall Street bets traders, who write option calls and trade naked option calls and so on. How do they position themselves for those YOLO gamble trades? All those numbers coming in, the implied volatility, the other math too, the gamma, the theta, all that numbers coming into play. You get an implied volatility number. You can also look at the previous expected moves coming in, the previous moves for the stock in April 6th of this year, 4% move. January of this year, 7% move. October of last year, 11% move. In July of last year, summer months usually slower. Makes sense why it was only a 1% move over there. Probably a flat earnings report also, hence not too much of a move over there. This time they're expecting a 7.8% move, so a move up to 15.35, which we almost saw, and a move down to 13.14, and we almost saw that one coming into play too. 13.25, the low at day 4, LEVI. Now the question is obviously, where do we see the stock going to tomorrow? How do we situate ourselves for a possible trade on a swing scale or a longer time frame? I like to anchor stocks these days after reading the book from Brian Shannon, Anchored VWAP, on such days as earnings days. So I can't wait for earnings moves to come out for us to look for stocks to play on earnings. And based on this move today, I'm going to anchor this tomorrow, obviously. I don't think I'll be able to anchor it on the daily chart because the move hasn't been shown yet. On the daily chart, you see how the stock is trading at 1350, but we don't really have any image for the after hours on the daily chart. This is everything from 9:30 to 4 o'clock only. We're just looking to draw some levels at the moment. Based on that, I'm going to look for this level right here, somewhere around that area. Where another trend line I would like to put in is basically around these bottoms, and currently where today's not the candle low, but around $14. So let's put it around $14. Good thing about Trade Ideas is, you have an amazing charting software. I built this layout legit 30 minutes ago for this show, and I want to keep building on this layout. But look at this, you get an instant scan of every single stock that's moving in the post-market: Tesla, Rivian, SPY, Ford, Bank of America. These are your volume leaders in the aftermarket. And then post-market movers, looks like we got GG, Charles Schwab moving around a little bit apparently. A couple other stocks moving around over here. So check out Trade Ideas, use code TraderTV20. TTV20 is the code. So tomorrow I'm expecting, the stock could maybe drop down to that $13 area. Maybe we break that 13 for a possible move even lower to the downside, triggering SSR, and then we could see some bounce below 13, maybe around 1270, 1250. But if the stock shows you weakness under 12, under 13, all the way up to 1250 or even all the way up to 12, then you don't want to fight that SSR bounce strategy. Just let that stock move around, and we're still waiting for the actual numbers. So I'm sure tomorrow morning we have not earnings whisper. Tomorrow morning we're going to have Sharif making you the Trader TV watch list. So go check out the Trader TV watch list. Every single day comes out every single morning. It looks a little bit like this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just open it up. Looks a little bit like this. Comes out with the exact catalyst on why a stock is moving, what's the ticker, and what's the percentage that it's up. We even point out all of the important economic data that's coming out, such as the initial jobless claims, how Fed Logan was talking at 8:45, ISM non-factoring PMI coming out at 10 p.m. along with the 11 o'clock number for oil, and so on. So make sure you check that out. I'm sure somewhere in here, Levi Strauss will be in there along with all the news information that you need to know. We do your homework for you so you don't have to, and this is part of that show, right? The show is part of that, giving you levels that traders that might be interested in and possibly looking at as to how they would potentially position themselves as a day trader. Short Levi, not a strong stock. I mean, we're already seeing that on the after hours right now. The after hours showing us clear weakness. We did pop up initially, but clear weakness being settled into the position right now in the after hours, dropping us almost to that 7% marker, now getting destroyed for Levi Strauss, which was actually up almost 1% on the day. We will circle back to this earnings movers after a little bit. Let's actually quickly run through some of our hot sectors on the day that were very active. Let's start with Rivian, right? Rivian was quite active today. I guess that's an understatement. I mean, this stock really ripped up to the north side, and we're almost seeing that barrier on the daily time scale on Rivian. So let's actually go straight to the chart. Let me show you the chart. Let's also go to the yearly chart, daily. Go to daily, and this level right here, around that 22-ish or so, as you guys can see. I'm just looking to pinpoint exactly 22 at this point. Let's just do that, 22.05-ish or so. That level around 22 has previously shown us a triple top coming in, or you can even call it, maybe a head and shoulders for you technical buffs over there. A shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, and a head coming in, dropping us right to the downside. Now, after doing that, Rivian obviously creating a little bit of a all-time low, a bottom at the all-time lows, looking very similar to our friend Lucid Motors, which made that pop from the 560, 550 areas all the way up to $7. I'm sure some of you in the show took that trade, and I'm very happy for you guys over there. Congratulations on that long. But the question is, what happens to Rivian around these $22 area? Rivian did recently announce that they had a 50% increase on their on the deliveries. So that's obviously an amazing boost, and that's the numbers that you want to be hearing. But a company like Tesla, a company as big as Tesla, had an 80% boost. So you really want to be hearing Rivian doing what companies like NIO, Li Auto, XPeng do, which is like thousands of percent, not 50%. You want to hear 1,000%, 2,000%. And Rivian is an American company backed by Amazon, funded by Ford, who obviously pulled out game too strong by Ford. Yeah, they're funded by so many companies. They got so much money, or technically they should. I don't know how they're doing now. Maybe they're burning through it because of the lack of deliveries before, which they're kind of fixing it, right? 50%. But we've seen XPeng, NIO, and Li Auto come out with thousands of percents of movers before. And Rivian is not movers, delivery numbers being exceeded. And Rivian is not just there yet. Once Rivian starts showing us those higher percentage beats on expectations, I think then I'll be very bullish on it. I also keep telling you, once I see more Rivians in my neighborhood, I'll be more bullish on it. Right now we are obviously we can't do anything other than be bullish on this stock with the way it's moving almost back to that $22 area. Let's see if Rivian can actually break 22 and continue its ascent to the north side. In that case, you just simply get long and don't fight that trend. But if 22 shows you that resistance tomorrow, that resistance could even show up around $22.50, $23, honestly, based on how the stock trades in pre-market or off the open. Off the open, we could make that run up past 22, go up to 22.50, go up to 23, make that wick candle, and then start just nosediving to the downside, turn red on the day. I've seen that setup play out multiple times, so just don't get trapped on either side. Just, have some patience on the trade and then be able to make some trades on it. Lucid just popped up on our post-market movers for some reason, but as we are over here on the daily chart, we can't really see anything. So let's go to the 1 minute chart, see what Lucid is doing, and look at that. Yeah, Lucid just dropped apparently to the downside drastically, all the way down to $6.88, and then popped right back up. So not sure what happened over there with Lucid, but it's clearly moving around. Bumble is moving around. I recently signed up for Bumble, ladies. Whoever's interested in a single man looking for a woman, check me out on Bumble. Bumble obviously making a little bit of a move, no volume at all, so nothing really to talk about. This is not showing you any volume happening. Maybe we need to filter the scanner a little bit more. There's a lot of pings happening. We're seeing so many pings taking place non-stop that I'm not really finding the perfect stocks that I want to talk about. So why don't we stick to this scanner at the moment? We will minimize the scanner for now, and we'll fix that scanner for tomorrow. As you can see, the most volume made so far in the after hours comes in from your friends in the EV sector first. Tesla, Rivian, you can put Ford in the basket too. Ford is back to $15. Wow, Ford. Okay, I've been sleeping under a rock. I have not been looking at Ford at all for a while now. Ford bringing in good amount of volume on the close. Obviously, that's how stocks usually move. A lot of volume is traded usually at the end of the day because they don't affect the market too much price. They don't affect the market price too much by trading that much volume in the after hours or on the closing print, sorry. The man just sales pitch himself. You know it. You know how I do. But yeah, the EV sector is still very hot. Rivian, man, you gotta love Rivian. But tomorrow, I'm not gonna be able to love Rivian that much, especially if Free Fall Friday is anywhere in play tomorrow. Based on the macroeconomic numbers that we're talking about, such as the jobless claims numbers. So, based on my previous conversations with my mentors such as Greg and even my other friends who've helped me into teaching me more about macroeconomics, financials, business in general, and so on, and trading. This is what my idea is if more people are not claiming jobless, that means like more people are basically getting hired. The economy is not going to basically fix itself, and the interest rates are not going to come down. So it's just going to keep getting worse. So we need people basically to be more unemployed for some reason. And that way inflation kind of can start fighting and start going lower. And that's not the way the numbers that are coming out apparently. And we're seeing the market, sell off based on that, because if these numbers are coming out in the wrong direction for what FOMC committee is looking for, then clearly they might not just look for 2 rate hikes, they might look for 3 rate hikes or even more. And if the market is fearful of rate hikes, which they should be, then obvious move to the upside is questionable, and you're looking for more downside. That being said, today the market did have a pretty wild move to the upside after making that bottom around 1.5, 1.6%. I think NASDAQ bottomed out at 15,100 or so, 15,120 area. And also we had SPY bottoming it out at 44.20 areas or so, if I remember correctly. Both of them which were down 1.5%, popping up to the north side and only ending 0.78% to the downside. So insane move on the market. I mean, Rivian at one point was down on the day, trading below 20 and now up 6-7% on the day. What a crazy move for this stock itself. Tomorrow, what are we expecting? I mean, maybe the stock does have that move up to $25, $26 if we do get past 22. That's why I don't want to be fighting the shorts on this position. There is that possibility. But if tomorrow ends up being, a little bit of a free fall Friday based on everything that we just talked about, then I think Rivian has that possible move right back to the downside. Maybe we go back down to 20 after showing us a fail of 23 break or a fail of 22.50 area. Going right back to 20, giving us a nice short of $2 or so would be amazing. Your options AI chart is great, good sponsor. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, I love Options AI. I'm actually going to try and get them to sponsor this after hours show, because I'm pretty much the only one who uses this tool on the show for the most part. So I'll try to talk to them, get them to sponsor this one. And then if they're listening, hey, we love your tool. All of our friends love their tool too. They actually are in America. So if you I think we have a code somewhere for Options AI. Make sure you do maybe Bears versus Bull. I almost used your real name. Good thing I stopped. Bears versus Bull. If you know the code for Options AI that we have, maybe if you can put that in the chat, that would be amazing. What a crazy non-participation labor force is going up. In some states, we are in the high 40s. People aren't working or looking for work. I mean, since COVID took place, that is kind of the story, right? People are looking to stay at home and not trying to go to work and so on. That is true, but the numbers are the numbers. We can't ignore the data, right? We can't ignore the data, sadly. Unemployment rates aren't really unemployment rates, says Darwin. Ooh, Darwin's getting in a little bit deeper talk over there, putting on the tin hat maybe. Who wants to pay me not to work? I guess the market is. But in that case, you're literally working for yourself, right? And that's the beauty of the market. We love this job so much because we're working for ourselves. We are our own bosses. You're your own HR, risk manager, GM, CEO, CTO, everything. And that's the beauty of it. And sometimes that's the annoying part of it too. Welcome to Trading 101, ladies and gentlemen. If you are thinking about getting into trading or not, then you should be coming in to our next Friday, not tomorrow, but our next Friday podcast, who will be with Gregory, and we're gonna have an amazing conversation over there, talking to him about his life experiences. He's the person who's who has basically helped me get to this seat so far in trading. So thank you, Greg, and I can't wait to podcast you very soon. Getting back to the market here, ladies and gentlemen, we still have a lot of stocks to talk about. Obi-Wan Kenobi's heading out. Chat, say goodnight, Obi. NIO had a little bit of a sell-off day today. The 10 area came into a barrier yet again. We've seen this 10 area play multiple times. Here's the earnings day on NIO. So here's a stock that I can actually perhaps use our new favorite tool, anchored VWAP. So let's put it on the earnings day. see how the anchored VWAP looks at the moment. The stock is trading above the anchored VWAP ever since the earnings day anchor. So that is looking good. It is also intersecting pretty much with the, I believe that one is, let me just take a quick look. It is a 100-period EMA. The orange is a 100-period EMA on the daily chart, intersecting with that point. And now we could expect NIO to maybe pull back down to these areas over the span of tomorrow or next week. Honestly, I'll see it happening tomorrow. I wouldn't doubt it. Maybe NIO could come back to this $9 area, test for supports. We're looking for shorts apparently on NIO, chat. And if that's the case, then I should possibly be thinking short for Rivian also. So we'll take a look at Rivian on that side. Man, I can't find the discount code in my notes anywhere, says our friend. But sadly, once we get the code for Options AI, guys, we'll let you know. That way you get some discount on Options AI too. So we can hook you up with that one. But right now, we can't have it because Katrine's not here. Sadly, she's on vacation. She should be back soon. We miss her. Okay, so now can we maybe move away from the EV sector a little bit? Maybe not. We'll quickly take a look at MULN, 29% up today. I think at one point it did make that run up to almost 30 cents or so. What was the high of day today? Around 25 cents? No, it did make 30-cent run up. Yeah, there you go. Broke 30 cents, but then failed and came back down. Still ended up 29% on the day. Hanging out in pre-market a little, after hours a little bit. We'll see what happens in the after hours for this position. I mean, it still usually trades a lot of volume in the after hours, so we'll possibly see that taking place. And a lot of volume for relatively for this stock is nothing, but in the after hours, it does around pretty decent volume for anyone to be interested to trade that maybe, but you won't be able to put in a lot of size, I'll tell you that one. So let's go back to the daily chart here. Now let's move away from this. Ooh, baby, look at this stock. Let's move away from EV stocks and come back to Levi, because now look at Levi. 1310 coming into play. The bottom expected from the options move over there. Someone's cracking in the office. Cheers to whoever it is. If Levi over here, drops to that $13 and holds and stays above 13.14, then Options AI, the tool that we love so much, predicted that move so perfectly, picture perfectly. 13.13 is expected to be the low. We actually got a low of 13.11 coming into play today. Let's see where the stock ends up settling. We already gave you the overall idea for the stock. The overall idea for me is to the downside. I am expecting 13 and maybe below 13 coming into play tomorrow. These are the levels that we're looking for. 1290 to 1280 is where you could possibly look for longs if the stock is already triggering SSR off the open. But there is a good chance that the stock goes down 13, 14, 15% before you actually see the SSR bounce playing. So you might want to wait for that level to burn out a little bit, the sellers to still play out their hands, and then the trigger SSR. Maybe it's already triggering SSR in pre-market, but let that selling to continue off the open, because all the buyers who are in burn level, they're going to look to close their position a little bit more maybe and sell off on that trade. So as the stock sells off a little bit more on the current sentiment, maybe we see that 1280, 1250 breaking and going a little bit lower for anyone interested in that SSR bounce long. For anyone interested in the short, it's as simple as get short 13, honestly, to me, and risk all the way up to 14 for a nice swing trade to the downside. I mean, how low can the stock really go? Looks like a lot. I don't know if that's the all-time low over here, but there is a good little support area around $12, $11.80 to 12. There's another bottom over here around $10. If there's any chance that we could go to like an all-time chart here, that's not an all-time chart. So let me just quickly do that over here on TradingView, because it's a little bit easier to do that all-time chart. Let's go take a look at the all-time chart. Yeah, so that is the all-time low, around $9, $10. There is a decent support at 12, as you guys can see right here. Each candle that you're looking is 1 month candle. So as based on that, there is a pretty decent support around 12, and the next one around 10 to 9. If we break this 12 area tomorrow, if we break 13, go to 1250, go to 12, and then break 12, that means the stock is really going to a new all-time low in the span of the next half of the year, right? That's how bad the earnings numbers are, apparently. But my expectation would be, you know, we are already heading towards that minus 7.7% that the options AI was expecting. My expectations would be we trigger that SSR, we find some supports around $12, and the stock starts bouncing back up. I don't think we go much further than 12 tomorrow, and then later on we can see if that 12 level breaks and then look for a trade past that. Brad, that's your number one trade, Levi, to test the support tomorrow. Yeah, I think so. I think you could say that. I really like the trade. I like earnings plays a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I find like that's my strength, I guess. I don't know if I should say that, but that's where my strength is. I very often put my levels on what am I trying to do? What's the ticker? AAL. I'm trying to go to the travel sector. Very often I find my levels coming into play, or my ideas coming into play, even as a day trade. It's just my execution and my own psychology that screws me up with these trades. So what I'm trying to do moving forward is just take smaller size, letting the idea play out, giving it that wiggle room. And if I'm wrong, then I'm really wrong on that trade. It's obvious in my face. But if I'm right, then I'm really right, because the stocks move so much in the money for me that it doesn't matter anymore where my entry is, even if my entry was not the greatest. So trying to see if I can work on my strategy a little bit more on that side. Currently throwing out some levels on American Airlines. Recently, American Airlines was absolutely taken off to the north side with all the positive catalysts that it's been baking in itself. A positive catalyst such as, I believe, not earnings, because I don't see a yellow line anywhere for earnings. Is this daily chart? This is a daily chart. I don't see any earnings over there. When is the earnings date? July 20th, pre-market. So we still got about 7 days or so. I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know how many days to be exact. 16 days, 14 days exactly. Sorry, there you go. 14 days for earnings on American Airlines. Even before the number coming out, you know, they've been getting upgrades and a lot of positive catalysts. So taking off to the north side for quite a bit now. I'm trying to decide, you know, if I was to throw an anchored VWAP, where would I throw the anchored? Maybe at one of these recent lows or this day. I think I would throw it at this day. That day had a big volume spike on it, right? Big volume spike over here. We had a decent volume spike over here too. Maybe I could anchor one over here and then anchor one on this characteristics change, on the break of this resistance over here, and so on. So let's just see how it looks throwing one down live. And you know, we're probably making a mistake on how we're anchoring it. We still need to learn how to anchor this and so on. Still need to finish reading that part of the book. So I'm actually learning this live with you guys. So if I do make any mistakes, I apologize. But I like the way that as soon as I anchor it, you can see how it's respecting that anchored VWAP already on the daily chart. We are trading above the anchored VWAP. We are holding that level right now, or the EM. It's not an EMA, but that moving average looking line so far, which is the anchored VWAP line, and showing that buyers are technically stepping up on average above this price ever since this big move started happening. So if this big move had a actual big buyer behind it, there was a big whale. Some big catalyst came out, and there's a big whale behind the stock that caused it to do that crazy move that we're watching it do, right? The chart that I'm pulling up right now is a 15-minute chart, so I'm trying to show you on a different way here. How would they accumulate position on here? So this was the day that it made that move, right? This was the day it made that move. They probably took their size off the open. The next few days, they got to decide where to take the most of the fills, and most likely on the drops downs at these VWAPs or any of these even EMAs. Or any of these EMAs. That was Sean. I thought someone was talking to me. Any of these EMAs, you can see their buying programs triggering in, and you know, not software, but algos coming in, buying up the share sizes and punching it back to the upside. So you're seeing it showing us some support so far, especially on the 1 day time scale. I do like seeing that. So as long as American Airlines can stay above this horizontal support slash previous resistance, now new support. As long as we can stay above the 1750 area on American Airlines, and I also see the bounces coming off of this anchored VWAP area based on this volume breakout on this day over here. You know, this is not that relevant to me. This is on 4th is what month? March, June, July. July, June, March, May. No, I forget it. Who cares? April? Yeah, it was April. 4th April. I mean, this is pretty old, I guess, right? It's not that old, but April. We care about more relevant news for a day trader. We're a day trader. We care about what happened recently that made the stock go so crazy, and I care about what happened on this day. So I want to anchor it off of this day, and based off of that, as a day trader, I want to keep seeing the stock bounce off of these levels. Maybe you can even anchor it off the recent 52-week high, which would be, if we go to the daily chart again, and just zoom out a little bit, maybe it would be easier to do that on TradingView to go to a 52-week scale chart. Maybe can I do that here real quick? No, I can't do that here. I just don't know how to, but I'll figure that out eventually. I need to have a sit-down session with Mr. Nasboss over there so I can learn this platform a little bit better. American Airlines, you know, looking good, but today a little bit of a sad move. Their partnership with JetBlue falling out because I think JetBlue wants to throw away this deal in order to look better for DOJ, so they can make that deal with SAVE actually go through. So they're trying to maybe bait your boys, DOJ and FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, into making that SAVE and JetBlue deal go through. So here's my next trade that I like. Trade number 1 was obviously Levi. Levi, don't know if we'll bring in that volume for me to actually take a lot of trades in it, but we'll keep an eye out on it. Here's my next best trade, which would be in the travel sector, CCL, AAL, all these positions pretty much looking the same. You can look for that recent breakout. I mean, look at this one. We had an earnings move recently, right? Earnings bump on it. So if we were to anchor it on that earnings move, we already got this move over here. So if CCL was to pull back down, show me support around 1720 areas or so, I'm looking for possible along off that area. And let's quickly zoom out over here. You can look for a level around here, which obviously we're well above it. This bottom's over here. We got some tops around these areas. There's double tops over here. Another double top in this area around 23. It is trying to march towards that $20 right now for CCL. So the $16 area breakout, I'm looking for support to come in around 17.25 or so. If that area breaks, obviously, then we can look for 16.15 area to come in for possible support on CCL. Even this sector selling off today, sadly. SAV, no, SAVE, Bears versus Bull. SAVE, Spirit Airlines. Did I say SAV? If I did, I apologize. And for my apology, I'll bring in...
Hola. Like and subscribe today.
Yes, sir. Sean's here. Sean's saying hola. And you gonna make an appearance? Yeah, come. Any stocks that you're interested in tomorrow that you want us to take a look at?
I mean, where's the camera?
Oh wait, let me do this one.
No, it's okay. I don't have a mic.
Just say it.
I mean, I still think we should be looking at Meta.
Meta?
Just because of that move that it had at the end of the day where it took out the day's low. And then whenever you're taking out the day's low, then I really do think that heading into tomorrow, that's not very good momentum into tomorrow. So I just wonder if people are trapped up there around that 294, 295 area like I quite frankly was. And coming into tomorrow, will the buyers still be there or will they have given up? Because 300 is such a psychological level that we touched it today, we broke it in the pre-market and never visited it again. So for me, it's all about Meta.
I actually like it. Yeah, I'm looking at Meta over here. Post-market volume, 2.7 million shares. Volume traded today, 47 million shares. Change in the after hours, sadly, down 2.8%. Earnings till date, 14 days till earnings on Meta, my friend.
What?
14 days till earnings on Meta, so I'm sure you're excited for that one.
July 26th.
Is that the date for it? Yeah, July 26th. You're right. Thank you to shout out to obviously Trade Ideas for anyone interested in the chart.
You see 200% more volume today.
Yeah, oh, is that, yeah, 200% more volume, change since January 1st, 142%.
People are trading that.
You gotta love it. I'm just gonna quickly do this anchored
What's up,
VWAP
Bears
over
versus
here.
Bulls? I gotta get out of
While
here.
you're here, I mean, yeah, it looks
Oh,
like
you've anchored it, eh? You've
I'm
anchored the
I'm
VWAP.
learning.
Shout
I'm
out Brian
learning.
Shannon.
I'm learning how to do it. I'm reading that book, Sean. I'm liking it a lot. It's teaching me, you know, some new ways to think about the market.
Yeah, I think it teaches patience.
Patience,
Can people
too.
hear me? Can you guys hear me in the chat, or is this freaking useless to do?
I
this?
think they can hear you right now. You guys can hear Sean, right, Chad? Just put some ones in the chat if you can hear him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, I'm glad that you guys lent out that book for me, and I'm
pretty good back
putting
here.
it to work.
I heard you're doing jujitsu. What's up with that?
Yeah, 7 o'clock today. I gotta
Pretty
go
soon I
do
won't be able to
Brazilian
beat your
Jiu-Jitsu.
ass.
That's good. That's exactly where we want to get to. I'm tired of getting beat up by Arun and you and everybody else and Sharif.
I'm not fighting any of those guys. Forget about that.
Yeah, I
I got
gotta.
baseball practice today, but
Oh, the
how long? How much longer
daughter
you
or the son? Daughter.
Daughter, yeah.
Okay.
Son plays soccer, karate, and hockey. He doesn't.
Okay, okay. Wish you.
Oh, they're in golf camp this week. Oh, you golf?
I mean, yeah,
haven't heard you golfing
I'm
in a
not
minute.
the. That's because now that I'm doing the after-hour show, I can't go to golf on Wednesdays. Maybe I should probably just take Wednesdays off on the show so I could go golf with the boys. And I know Greg will, you know, scream
Greg is still
yes.
there, yeah.
Greg will scream yes about that. But no,
I'm
it's
still trying to go with you guys, but I never get invited. So.
let's take next Wednesday off, you and me, and then we'll go with the boys.
You take the afternoon off?
No, like I mean, you have to end at 4 o'clock, and we leave
Yeah,
at
yeah.
4.
Yeah, but what, Dentonia again?
I mean, come on, we gotta go somewhere. Unless you're
I have
gonna.
I have the whip.
Yeah, but you're gonna bring the big car to fit all 7 people.
Yeah, well, I could. Actually, it is a 7-seater. The
Yeah,
Atlas.
we need a 7-seater to take 8 people with us.
Meta to the moon.
Meta going to 300 soon, Sean. We're holding that trend line.
All right.
Holding that trend line. I like what we're
Peace be with
seeing.
you.
Peace be with you. Get home safe, and hope your kid plays an amazing round today. I know she usually absolutely smacks it, man. She kills it on any sport. I've seen her like do some somersaults or something, and gymnast too. Like she's an absolute talented kid over there. Shout out to Sean and Mrs. Katina. Oh man, I was supposed to film something for her and I forgot again. This is the second day. She's going to kill me. Mrs. Katina, I apologize. I'm going to film for you very soon as soon as the show ends. So don't forget, I won't forget about it. Let's get to the market here. Just a couple more stocks left on our board, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Rivian, we talked about that. We talked about Levi. Let's talk about Meta because your main man, Sean, obviously wants us to quickly put that on the board. So let's put Meta over here. Let's draw this trend line somewhat like that. If I could actually maybe put these trend lines instead on TradingView because I like drawing trend lines easier on TradingView. So let's over to TradingView. Let's go to Meta Platforms. Let's go to 1-year chart. Zoom out a little bit. So we already have this range that we've been looking at, and that range breakout, which happens to be around, what's the high of that range? 289.67. Let's say 290. The 290 area possibly coming in for support on META 290 to 289.67-ish area. Looking for possible supports coming into that 50, 60 cent range. If that area doesn't come in to hold support, then we could just push a little bit lower to the lower range of that trend line on META. So you want to be possibly looking for that trend line support kind of coming down to, where is that, 286, 285 areas or so. I could see that happening before we see any supports really being built into this trade. But I would like to see before that number even comes in around 286, 285 for the supports to be built in around 290, 289.50 because that shows you that more buying pressure, the more people are bullish about this whole thread stuff, or maybe was it just buy the news, sell the buy the rumor, sell the news type of play, and now that the news is out, the rumor has been digested, and the news is out, which is you got the threads out. People are making accounts, 10 million accounts in 0.3 days, whatever. You know, shout out to Meta obviously for achieving those numbers and so on. But I'm very skeptical about all of this social media stuff. Anyways, you guys have heard me complain about this for quite some time now. But Meta, you know, talking about this trend line over here, we could see the possible bounce coming off that trend line or even off these multiple tops that we created right around. I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days in a row, then 5th day and the 6th day, we just reject that 289.67 so perfectly. And then we break out of that area, we break out of 290, run up to almost 300. So that level is very, very key for me because the recent resistance, an absolute barrier the stock has been blocked by and then taken out. I'm expecting supports there. If that doesn't show it, then the trend line. If that trend line doesn't show a support, then we can look for supports around 278, right back at the lower end of the box. And if none of these areas show me support, then I'm looking for nothing else but this bottom over here, or even right back to the lower end of these ranges, all the way back to these lows, whatever that lows is, 229. If this area doesn't hold for me, then I'm giving up on the whole long thesis for Meta because it's turning into sell the news trade for me, where we would drop down to this area. But then I wouldn't get too upset for me if we do drop down to this area, because it would be something like one of these moves, right? Look at the stock, drops down, consolidates or trades sideways, gaps up, drops down, trades sideways, gaps up, trades down, then this goes up again. We could see that exact same thing happening again too, right? Goes up, comes down, or it finally does something like this, where it starts consolidating lower and lower and lower. So far though, the market has been insane to the upside. Nothing can sell the market. Nothing can move this market to the downside. I mean, look at the market today. It looked like we were going to be down 2%. When was the last time we've actually seen the market be down 2%? I can't remember the last time the market was down 2%. I don't think it was sometime this year, right? So insane bull rally since the start of the year for this market. Even the number like today, we looked like we were going to trigger that 2% mark to the downside, but no, we got saved at 1.5, 1.4, only ending 0.9, 0.7 actually on the S&P 5. It was 0.77. On the QQQ was 0.78 if I remember accurately. So yeah, big reversal coming in across the board. We do have the oil sector here that we could talk about, but I mean, it's very choppy at the moment. We are stuck in same ranges from the past. I'd much rather wait for the oil sector to drop all the way back down to this triple bottom area, which is almost a triple bottom on Oxy, almost a triple bottom on CVX also. So I'd much rather just wait for these levels to come back into play. It would be around 150 on CVX. It would be around 55, 56 on Oxy to look for possible trades. But yeah, the oil sector is still in play. We are seeing OPEC and Russia cause some issues with production supply and so on. So that might put the trade a little bit in play to the upside or downside. We're seeing both sides play out. And oil inventories obviously came out to the good side, and hence the market pushed down even much lower because the U.S. inventories are forever booming. Metro booming. All right. A couple other positions here that maybe we should quickly run through before we end the day here. Only 10 more minutes left. Let's go take a look at DOCN. Monster rally on DOCN today. Insane move, but still not able to take out one of these previous highs that we made around 14th of June apparently. So around last month of June, we made this high around $47. This stock also has a catalyst, which they bought another company for, I forget exactly how many millions of dollars, but they bought Paperspace to boost AI offerings. So I'm guessing some sort of an AI company, DigitalOcean, bought this company, taking their valuation to the north side, I guess. Not too long ago, the stock was $133 stock. Here's the recent IPO. You guys know how much I like to look at IPO levels. Or if you don't know, now you know. So we're going to put the IPO level high, IPO level low, IPO body high, which is the probably the close or the open, and the IPO body low, which is either the close or the open. And if you notice, this dotted line, which is very close to that IPO body high that we have mapped out just now, is exactly where the stock is closed at today currently, right? There you go, right there. Like I said, I always talk about how I like to map out IPO levels. have a line at these IPO levels for the rest of your lives, and you will never have to move them, especially on charts like Apple and so on. It's so hard to look for the exact IPO level because they're like legendary stocks, right? You can't find them anymore. But on these ones, I love to look at stocks like these recent IPOs that make their pop, make their drops, and are now back into those ranges. We can find possible trade ideas off of that. So let's look for this stock to burst out of this 45, go to 47, break out of 47, and go higher. For any one of your short selling traders today, that was probably the level that you were looking to short, and no other level would have showed up. And if anyone was wondering, why would I short 45, or why would I short a stock up 13, 14% on the day? History. History is telling you how good of a level that is based on the first existence of the stocks on the stock market, and that level coming into play, much longer since it's been on the market. When did it IPO again? In March 2021. So 2-3 years down the road, those levels are being reused and recycled. So let's look for that level to break. Let's look for 47 to break. If this catalyst is bullish enough, if it's not bullish enough, we might see 47 area giving you a failed break, coming back through 47, giving you a short trade to the downside. So watch that trade over there for this bad boy. I think I pretty much hit everything that I mostly wanted to. So let me quickly go over here. I closed the work chat, so yikes. I'm trying to open this one. Nope, not that one either. I'm trying to open this one so I can run through, once again, our watch list. Go check out our watch list. We talked about most of the stocks here, such as Mullen. I wanted to talk about Affirm, but Affirm, every day is such an easy short, so just find your levels on Affirm and short the crap out of it. Easy trade over there. Bitcoin still moving around a little bit. Was actually up on the day, but Mara, Coinbase, I believe we're down on the day, if I remember correctly. MARA down on the day. Coin down on the day. I mean, Mara has been giving you such beautiful levels to play with. I've shown you this levels multiple times, ladies and gentlemen. So look at these levels coming back into play again. The double top, the Prastradamus levels. Make sure you take notes of these levels and enjoy with it. BTC getting hurt once again. Well, not BTC, because BTC was actually up at one point on the day, I believe. No, BTC was red and still is red. So yeah, Bitcoin getting hurt and still struggling. But Bitcoin stocks as a whole basket from our watch list were apparently a little bit flat / positive, which ended up red later on. Semiconductors, AMD, NVIDIA, always in play because they're in these new ranges. We've shown you the charts for these stocks too, such as AMD. You know, we love the fact that AMD is now showing us this range to trade in and the range to play with. This area is supports, this area coming in as resistances, and we are now trying to make a new range between these two areas, possibly consolidate in this area for a sideways a little bit, and then we figure out positive catalyst, move up, negative catalyst, move down. And I love the fact that AMD is exactly doing what I wanted to do, being a long-term investor. So thank you, AMD, for doing that. And for those of you who are invested in NVIDIA, it's doing better things than what AMD is doing. It's actually consolidating already in the higher end of the range that it's been making at a new all-time high after gapping up. So what more do you want from NVIDIA, ladies and gentlemen? Congratulations to all you bulls. 420 coming into play again and again and again. And today, holding above 420 and closing above 420, only being down 0.5% on the day compared to being down 2-3% on the day. So that's monstrous moves on NVIDIA itself. So that's the watch list over here. Make sure you sign up to it every single morning, coming out right before 8:30 or so, or 8 o'clock. So make sure you sign up for that. Economic calendar, quickly, let's go take a look at the economic calendar. Average hourly earnings, 8:30, very important. Non-pharma payrolls, 8:30, very important. 8:30 unemployment rate, very important. Very, very important numbers coming out all at 8:30. And sadly, Pratty Daddy is all on the bus during that time. So, might have to, maybe come in earlier tomorrow, just in case something like today happens and the numbers really move down tomorrow. So maybe you will see me earlier coming in the office at 8:30 or so on, and trying to see if there's a possible trade there, because I don't want to miss out on the move like today, where all the move happens in the pre-market, and off the open it's just buy the dips, buy the dips, buy the dips. MULN, 12 million shares traded after hours. Like I said, the most volume traded. Couple other stocks over here that moved around. I'm looking for anything that with a real catalyst that maybe we can put on our public offering by PWM. Popped up 3.7%. No real volume happening. Any stock that dropped down in the after hours with real volume, yeah, it's going to be Levi, obviously, earnings. SVV dropped down apparently 2% with 1.4 million shares. Nothing else coming in after that. IPO, we talked about that on midday. There's one IPO coming on the 11th, so we'll talk about it later on. Last but not least, we got the FOMC tool still predicting, oh, now it's a 90% prediction of a 0.25 rate hike, because today's economic numbers were so drastic and so bad that they are now pricing in previously 70 for so long. Then for the last few days it was 80. Now 90% probability of a 0.25 rate hike. Looks like the FOMC Fed rate outlook or FOMC minutes and the job number coming out today, both affecting this Fed tool a little bit, moving it around. Let's quickly. I can wrap it up, and so Greg doesn't get mad at me. Let's quickly go to Levi over here. You got time? Okay. Let's go to quickly Levi over here, see what it's doing on the 1 minute, because this is our baby. Oh, look at that. We did see 13 coming into play. Prastradamus calling it how it is for you guys every single day, even after 4 o'clock, putting in that extra hour just for you beautiful faces. And all we want from you is to hit that like, smash that like button, share it with your friends and family, let everyone know that we are throwing that hot fire for you, ladies and gentlemen. So 13 almost held. Let's see if tomorrow this level comes into play to the downside, SSR trade or not. We are going to wrap it up on that one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to find the camera button. There we go. We're going to wrap it up on that one. I'm your boy, Trader Pratt. Thank you for coming and hanging out for an extra hour of your after hours. We do this every day. This segment is sponsored by Day Trade the World. If you are interested in opening an office or working at a Day Trade the World office like the one you see behind us every single day from 8:30 till 4 o'clock, go to daytradetheworld, DTTW.com to learn more. That's our sponsor. Thank you for sponsoring us, DTW. We love you. And we will see you guys all tomorrow for a possible, wonderful, floral, free fall Friday. And let the market rain, baby. Let the market rain straight into our pockets. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.